Morning, guys. Late video, so I'm gonna get into it as fast as I can here. So it's all about bonds this morning. We got a bid in bonds. It's the end of the world. I'm using a 1 hour chart, so these are weekly webs. So we're right now, right here, right now, into the highest point to do the highest inventory for last week. We just ran into that, and we're back testing off of that. So I mean, the downtrend is not broken on the ZNs. Okay, but this is a logical place for it to backtest and potentially roll back down lower. I just want to point that out. We might be to an extreme on the bonds, but you never know. So keep that in mind. Okay, exact same picture on your 30 years. Okay, keep this one in mind. And then remember, Thursday we do have another 7 year auction. And the last time we had a 7 year auction, that's whenever bonds just imploded. So just keep all this stuff in mind in your analysis going forward here. It does, we are getting some warning signs that we might have bottomed on the yields for the short term, but no, there are no guarantees there, and we all know how much the financials on this whole inflation theme have ran to the moon here. So just some things to think about here. We have some major treasuries being sold this week. So we'll see if we have sufficient buyers to buy up all this debt that the Federal Reserve or the government is putting out there for all this stimulus. So a lot of stimulus money. They need to find a home for the bonds, and we're going to see how these yields. So really a lot of risk here on buying up all this debt this week. So we are opening the session here. SPY is rejecting 70% of yesterday's inventory. So just keep that in mind. First day of the week, here we are in a potential of rejecting that inventory. You go out on your 1 hour, that gives you your weekly webs in relation here. So we are below 70% of last week's inventory as well. So we have two bearish signals for SPY to start the session. Qs are holding out better. We're slightly below, the highest point to do business. We were at day highs, so it looked like the buyers and sellers potentially were liquidating yesterday afternoon, and so we are below that right here. And so just keep this one in mind here. We are inside 70% of yesterday's inventory. You go out in a 1 hour and put that in relation to the weekly webs. We're still opening inside of that inventory, but we are right on the cusp of getting out of last week's inventory. Okay, so 70% of last week's inventory is inside the green area, and we're right on the edge of that inventory, trying to expand prices higher on the Qs. So just keep this one in mind. It looks like we might be starting price discovery right out of the gate this morning for higher prices again for the Qs into the later part of the week. Okay, we have the Russell trending to the downside. We are breaking out of yesterday's inventory on the Qs. 70% of the inventory. We're breaking lower prices here as far as daily inventory goes. So all the buyers yesterday were wrong on the Russell. Most of the buyers, that is. And then today, are on the weekly standpoint, we are outside of weekly inventory. So now we have to go back 2 weeks. 2 weeks inventory. We're right down here, bottom of 2 weeks ago, the inventory, and that's also an area we had extreme buyers and sellers right at this price point 3 weeks out. They were meeting and they were content with owning the Russell at this price point. So just eye a potential bounce point at any point here on our Russell. Just heads up on that, a potential bounce point going into today's session for our Russell. And the final one I want to talk about here, we are rejecting 70% of last week's inventory on our diamonds as well. So our industrials showing a little bit of weakness along with the Russell. And we are outside of the weekly inventory as well. So this is more pronounced. It was a tighter trading range for the diamonds on the weekly standpoint. So just keep this one in mind here. We are in price discovery below that. So we definitely want to keep this on watch going forward here. It looks like we are looking above, potentially breaking this trend. So I want to definitely keep this one on watch, that we might be putting a head pattern here, building out a head pattern for our diamonds, Dow Jones, so the industrials. And we do have, uh, 1 second here, what's the name of that? We got some economic data coming out tomorrow. Durable goods. Durable goods are coming out tomorrow. So it's a little bit concerning seeing durable goods numbers hitting the tape tomorrow, and we're starting to see some profit taking ahead of it. So that gets to get me a little concerned going into tomorrow's numbers. So I'm going to quickly go through some stocks hitting my initial scans this morning. AMC, okay. So keep this one on watch. I definitely want to keep this one on watch here. We are bouncing off this 100 SMA on the 1 hour. So I definitely want to keep this one on watch. Typically when I see a bounce like that, I want to see this thing crossing bullish, and we're not actually seeing that. So this is leaning more to a bearish continuation setup so far this morning. American Airlines, bearish continuation setup off the 100. It looks like it's breaking down from bottom up, in my opinion. This will break, and then this here will break. Okay, and we are bouncing off critical resistance, in my opinion, on the weekly as well on that one. So keep that one in watch. Baidu, they did have the debut yesterday instead of Wednesday on the Hong Kong exchange. No big hoorah, or anything like that on the trading. So this is really not something I would even want to mess with anymore. Okay, so yeah, AMD looks like it repaired quite a bit of damage yesterday, so I'm going to keep that up. I like how this is pushing up on the upper side of the 15-minute, crossing above the 200-day moving average. We're into a nice consolidation zone. So just keep this in mind. Typically, you get in this range, you're going to go to the top. So the odds of success, if you were to go to the long side, do increase once you get inside this trading range. So AMD is a bullish candidate today. Like I said, the Dow Jones is looking very weak here. Bearish on the 15. Looks like it's breaking down on the 200, in my opinion. If you're breaking down from bottom up, that theory. AFA breaking down. It's already broken there. It's leading. That's one of your cannabis stocks. Okay. I'm going to go to, we're getting down in volume here, so I'm not going to go through the rest of those. Go down here, my next list here. AstraZeneca. Okay. Okay, it looks like they're trying to recover here on that. It's not really a buyable pattern, in my opinion. So just keep this one on watch here. AstraZeneca. So looks like we're late to the party on that one. Okay, AUY. That's one I wanted to talk about. They're getting concerned of. So this is a bearish setup for our gold. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Initial bearish signal for our gold this morning. Apple. Where's Apple at? Down here. Okay, AstraZeneca, Amazon, Adobe. I'm gonna have to type these in, guys. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, Apple, guys. What I was looking at here, I just try to use cycle analysis along with my trading, and I still think it's early in Apple. I'm not saying Apple should be going back down to lows. I just think the upside is really difficult. So I do want to point that out. This is still on the bullish side. You build it up from bottom up. So this is looking constructive. This is looking constructive. What I don't like here in my cycle analysis, I think we still got until the end of the month some, chop, a lot of chop, and possibly downside forces. And as you see, the 200-day moving average is moving up here. So this is catching up going into the end of the month. So that is still what I'm primary thesis, that we're going to go sideways, and eventually we're going to wick down into that 200-day moving average as time goes on into the end of the month. So that is my thesis. I'm sticking to it. So uh, if Apple has a tear your off, rip your head off rally, I'm going to miss it. I mean, I just want to float that idea out there. That's what I am looking for here on Apple. Uh, Amazon showing constructive here. It's actually one of the leaders of the pack here. So it's really looking decent here. We're still fighting this 200-day moving average on Amazon here. Uh, so right here, bottom of trend. Uh, Constructive here on the 1 hour too. Looks like we are uh, putting in a nice little base for that. So setting up for a nice little move here. Like I had mentioned, some people in the room and stuff. I think we're going to be coming up here soon uh, to the 32, 40, 50 area here soon. Just keep that in mind here on Amazon. I just don't know how soon on that. We have Adobe earnings this week. Tomorrow, I think, Adobe. So just keep this one on watch, or tonight. Adobe's reporting tonight. Major tell for technical tech strength. This is one really important for tonight on Adobe. It's going to give a bell. It's going to give an all clear to buy up tech or not. So if they start knocking down Adobe right after earnings, I mean, of course, that's going to be difficult. This is a potential major signal for technology tonight on our Adobe. So it is a bearish on the uh, uh, versus the 200-day moving average. So some damage has been done to this chart. So definitely one we want to keep on watch today. And then Microsoft is the darling that saved the market yesterday. So holding out there like a champ right here. I'm keeping a close eye on it. I do want to point out, great on the 1 hour. It's building up from the bottom. Very constructive build here on Microsoft. But I do want to point out here some things. If I had to go long tech, Microsoft is the one that is looking the best right here. You're back inside. It's one of the first techs to go back inside last month's 70% of inventory. So we've crossed into that. So very looking constructive here. Only problem I have with this one here, similar situation with Apple. It looks like some downside risk into the end of the month for tech. So that's, if my cycle analysis is correct, I mean, which it may not be, that's a theory that I have. Microsoft was kind of trading the same as Apple as far as cycle analysis goes. So that's one. If I had to do between Apple or Microsoft, I would be looking for Microsoft. And I'm also looking at Google, another one of the darlings. It looks like it's nearing the end of its down cycle as well. It hasn't really participated yet. So right here, not really getting a bull bear signal on the 15-minute. It's bearish on the 1 hour. So I definitely want to keep this one on watch going forward for some bullish life. We haven't really seen it yet. I do want to point out here, it looks to me, based on my cycle analysis, that it's just going to go sideways here for a week after, a good week after the 1st of April. So that's something I definitely want to point out here. This thing should be a hell of a lot stronger up here, in my opinion. So I do want to point that out. Really, like I said, not really showing any life yet. And this should actually be one of the darlings to be buying right here if you were really bullish tech. But really blowout quarter last time, and it's been just digesting that move. So I'm keeping a close eye on this. We are fighting with that. It's right there on the edge of all that inventory from this month. So if tech were to catch a bid, of course, this could easily pop in the short term. So I would definitely want to keep this one on watch. 14 minutes. So I did want to point out XLE came down to critical. This is the trend line XLE's been in. We are coming down right down here to critical support of the primary trend on our XLE here. So we are possibly back testing that channel low on XLE. And then XLF, our financials, because the bond's coming in, we are breaking on a weekly basis. We are starting to break this major resistance here on our financials. As you can see, we gapped down below that trend line. we seem to be even gapping lower this morning here on our financials. And I do want to point out I do have a lower target for financials, the $33 area. So another 40 cents lower possibly today on our financials. That would be my first area for support. So I'm not necessarily a bull, uber bull for financials today. Okay, like my video, like it. Please retweet it on Twitter. Make comments if you see something I don't see. And I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully.